It's the Stone Cold Steve Austin theme. Hey everybody.
What's happening?
Welcome to a special, kind of impromptu episode of WWPWW.
Yeah, because we wanted to put SmackDown or SummerSlam. Good grief, I can't get any of those things right. We want to put SummerSlam in this together at first, but then we were like, Raw and SmackDown were way too good to lump it in SummerSlam. So
and because since we're gonna have our buddy Chris with us, we don't want to just have him sitting here listening to us talk about Raw and SmackDown before we get into SummerSlam.
Chris, you just sit there in the corner
while we talk for 45
SmackDown.
minutes about these.
If not longer.
Yeah, and so hopefully
I think it was
we
a good
can
idea.
do this. Yeah, I think it was. We both had a similar mode of thinking for that, and yeah, it's good that we did that because otherwise it probably would have been a lot longer. Because I'm sure just talking about SummerSlam that'll be an hour and a half in itself. Because I'm sure it'll be pretty awesome. So
Yeah, it should be pretty good.
So yeah, that's good we're doing this. So this is episode 6. So jump right into it. Just right off the bat, had some big wrestling news. They announced on SmackDown. I don't think it was Raw. I think it was SmackDown.
Yeah, it was kind of like a. Oh yeah, he's gonna be there.
Yeah, they announced Jon Stewart is coming back to SummerSlam. Last year he was the host, and he interfered with the champion versus champion match, which I thought was funny.
They did actually say something on Raw. I think it was Stephanie and Mick Foley were together. I just got off the phone with Jon Stewart. It's kind of like
that's right. Yeah.
Like it's kind of big news because, like you said, he was there last year. But it's kind of they kind of just shoehorned it in.
Yeah. It wasn't a big grand announcement.
There's no promo to it.
Yeah.
So I don't.
Yeah. I want to see what happened, if he's going to be like another guest type thing like he was last year, or if he's just going to be a spectator, if he's going to be in a match again, like, interfere in a match again. So that'll be kind of fun to see because he's not Jon Stewart, so
yeah,
do something funny with him, I'm sure. But and then the big news is 3 people in 2 days got suspended for violating WWE's wellness policy.
Yeah, I watched a video about this last night from Ollie Davis, and he just was like, "Yeah, what's going on?" And then at the end of it was really funny. He's like, "Yeah, well, you're probably watching this. There's no other wrestlers ever. There are no more wrestlers in WWE, so I don't know what we're gonna do." But yeah, it's really funny. 3 wrestlers. The first one being Del Rio, popped for wellness issues. I don't know if he's just sick or or drugs. Probably some.
He's a sick guy.
Yeah.
King Ross shout out.
I mean, there's speculation. Like Triple H has put heat on him because Triple H thinks he's a big partier.
Oh.
And like I've heard that Triple H thinks he's a really big partier. He thinks he's a bad influence on Paige, who Triple H really likes.
And she seems like she'd be a partier too. So.
Yeah, and put those two together because who was the second person popped?
Paige. His girlfriend. Yeah.
His girlfriend. And so it's kind of like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
You guys are getting paid pretty good, no matter if you're doing.
All you have to do is not do any sort of drugs.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
that's not hard to do.
Yeah. But, those two, okay, they were probably together when they did it. They got popped.
That's, more than likely, yeah.
But the third one?
Yeah, Eva Marie.
Eva Marie?
This one was a big question mark for me.
Like, I'm hoping that this is a work, because that would be hilarious.
It would.
But it doesn't sound like. Well, it doesn't sound like. I read a rundown of something that WWE had posted on their website, and reading that made it sound like it is a work.
Really?
Yeah, like they did the whole, like, if you could listen to her entrance, if you read it in that voice, it sounded like this is something that WWE is trying to play on. So I'm hoping that that's what it is. Probably not. She probably will.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, three not big names, but Eva Marie, who has a storyline going on, pretty important storyline in my opinion. Come on, guys.
Yeah, it's a weird scenario, and it's very unfortunate because I don't wish bad luck upon anyone.
No.
And it's and I'm sure most of it is just because smoking weed is so commonplace and it's legal in a lot of states now, stuff like that. I'm sure that's what a lot of this is, but it's like it doesn't matter if it's legal in the state. If your employer says you can't do it, you're still, it's like, oh, it's just a weed. I don't know what the big deal is. It's like, Well, I mean, it's against the rules. It doesn't matter if it's legal in the state. It's against the
Right.
rules of your employer.
Right.
So.
And I think they were both Paige and Del Rio were out of the country too, and I don't know, what laws they have there. But you're right. If the company says don't do it, you don't do it.
Yes. In the words of Stephen A. Smith, stay off the weed.
Yeah.
But anyways, all right. So let's go ahead and jump right into Monday Night Raw.
That's right.
Overall, I thought it was pretty decent. I thought it was very good.
It was a lot more solid than I thought it would be. And I made a comment last time about the fact that I thought SmackDown had the better writers. This Raw, I put words. I mean, I had to eat those words because this Raw was well written, well done, from the start. With Seth Rollins looking for Demon King. Hey, Demon King, where you at?
Yeah,
that was pretty well done.
See, that would have been the place to do a Pokemon Go plug.
Oh, that would be fun.
That would have been the place to do a Pokemon Go plug.
Yeah, that would have been great.
Trying to catch the Demon King, like bloop, 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 bloop on his phone.
Yeah, they could have the Golden Retriever come out and just try to. Yeah, that would be funny.
But yeah, I thought it was really done well. And I thought the opening was pretty decent with Rusev, Lana, Roman, Mick, Stephanie, and all of them coming out. Like we talked about last time, Roman's getting better on the mic, and he seemed like he was better this time too. He seems like he got even better, and so it's like, all right, good, because he's not doing these great big long diatribes, like The Rock used to do. He used to do these great big long, which were awesome, but
because he's not The Rock.
Yeah, he's not. Yeah, he's keeping them shorter and more concise, which I'm okay with.
Which I'm okay with too, and it fits with his character, especially what we hope that they do with him.
Mm-hmm.
Short and sweet, to the point. Do your job. Get in, get out. Kind of like like you said, the Shield was. The only thing I had with this, I thought would have been funny, is if Lana and Rusev sat in the ring for at least one quote-unquote match.
Mm-hmm.
Just do a squash match between who, it doesn't matter, just people competing in the area, and then have Roman Reigns come out as if Lana and Rusev is not going to let this match matter and stuff, and then have Roman come out and be like, listen, these two guys, they're trying to wrestle here. What are you doing in the ring right now? You need to get out, type thing.
Yeah, that would have been a good way to open it.
But even so, I liked when Roman Reigns comes like, oh, if all you guys want an apology, I'll give you an apology. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, what he said. It was
that was
good.
It was
clever. It was well done.
So I think the mail order bride thing is going to be a running joke now. So that was it was a good spot last week, and it was a good spot calling back to it this week. And then they've announced that they were going to have a match in the main event of Raw. So I was like, really? Like, that's interesting. But we'll get to that later.
yeah.
But yeah, it was a good opening though, and Stephanie, like, she seems like a tweener now because she's
management, and I think they're treating.
She's being devil's advocate, kind of.
Yeah, she's being what management needs to be, and not like the authority figure. Oh, down with the man type thing. She is being what a management person would be. Yeah,
and I'm digging it. It's not just like she's the evil boss lady. Hoo ha ha ha.
So much better.
This is much fitting to her because it paints her in a more positive light on screen. Like off screen, everybody knows she seems like a good person, does all that great work with charity. So it's good that they're kind of painting her more in a positive light on screen also as sort of a no nonsense businesswoman, and it works. But then so that kind of went into Sami Zayn and Sheamus. Did you see that on they had that on the Hulu cut? Okay, good.
They did. Yeah.
That's what we're gonna be calling it now, the Hulu cut.
Hulu cut, yeah. It's only.
But yeah, I thought it was a pretty good match. Really decent. Sheamus I've never been a fan of Sheamus ever, but he's good at being a heel. He was not good as a bad guy. Yep. As a good guy, I mean, like he just was boring and bland. Nothing special about him really, I think. Seems like a nice guy, but he's much better at being a heel. Like he's just much better at it. And also he's been impressing me with his matches. His matches haven't been bad at all.
Yeah,
they really haven't.
And I think part of that's because he's been wrestling with Cesaro.
Yeah, and now Sami Zayn. So
yeah,
but
I liked some of the things that Sheamus said about Sami. Like, you're a knockoff of me or whatever.
Yeah.
Said, oh, cheap knockoff of the Celtic Warriors. Like, yeah, he's right about that.
Yeah,
It's
that's funny.
It
is, yeah.
It's funny. And then the chants, "You are stupid."
Yeah.
Oh man, it was really good. It was a good setup. I don't know why they're doing a best of 7 series.
I don't know either. I think it should have been a 2 out of 3. I think it should have been 2 out of 3. I think best of 7 is too crazy.
What happens at the end of best of 7? Well, and it could be 4 matches. It could be 4 matches long technically.
Yeah.
But it won't be. Like, what happens at the end of 7 matches? We don't know. Like, is one of them going to get kicked off the show, go to SmackDown, or there's nothing at stake here. So
hopefully they'll introduce something. Yeah.
It would be nice.
And also, hopefully they won't have, I don't think that they would have them all be pay-per-view matches. That would be way too extensive.
It wouldn't make sense, no.
I think they'll have one on Raw. They'll have one on Raw, and then they'll have one on the next week of Raw, and then they'll have one on the next week of Raw, and then they'll have one on the next pay-per-view or whatever. Like, yeah.
It's 7 weeks of watching these guys wrestle.
Yeah. Hopefully they can maybe do, like, one to open the show, and then Sheamus loses to Cesaro, and then he's mad and he wants a rematch. So, like, at the end of the show, they have another one.
Oh, yeah, 2 at a time. Oh, that would be
two in an episode. So maybe they could do that once or twice. Maybe do two matches in a night. But
I don't know what they're going with this.
I know I don't hate it, but it puzzles me. It puzzles me a lot. I just don't know what's gonna happen. So, but then we had the New Day and the Dudleys. Did you see this match?
Yep. Yeah, it was. It was pretty much a squash match.
It was basically just there for Anderson. Yeah, it was to help move the storyline along, and then Anderson and Gallows came. Was it before or after their match that they came on the Titantron and did the doctor thing?
Just before.
Just before.
I think. Yes. Yeah, because I have it written down here. Yeah, it was just before they went on. More wordplay and then a microwave.
Yeah.
We'll put them in a microwave. We're running tests. That was funny.
It was funny. I don't care what anybody says. I liked it. It was funny.
And they can keep doing that stuff. I love that kind of stuff. It's funny. It's junior high level, which makes a lot of men laugh. No matter how old you are. My 7-year-old or my 6-year-old son would laugh at those kind of things. And so would I. So that was really funny. And then like I said, it was a pretty quick match.
It was. And I just had it there to kind of talk about because it kind of helped move the storyline with the New Day in the club. That's why I kind of put it in here and stuff. And then Nia Jax had another squash match.
Yeah, I didn't get to see that because it's a small match.
It's a small match, so it's something they can just kind of cut out. And it seems like this is just kind of like I said, I think last time with her and Braun Strowman. I feel like it's just kind of a stall tactic. Just build them up, make them look really big, unstoppable monsters and stuff like that until they find a good storyline or a good feud to put them into.
Yeah, and especially with Nia Jax when there's only essentially 2 female wrestlers outside of Nia Jax, Sasha and Charlotte. I can't think of anybody else, to be honest, on their roster. Yeah. And so they need to have something to do. They need her to do something. So yeah, you're absolutely right.
Then we come to a fantastic part.
Yes. Of
this, which was Heath Slater interrupting Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman's promo. And the biggest thing that surprised me about this, I was shocked, is that Brock Lesnar talked.
Yeah.
He took the mic from Paul and talked. I couldn't believe it.
I don't know what I was doing. I wasn't paying attention. And then all of a sudden, I didn't hear Paul Heyman's voice, and I didn't hear Heath Slater's voice. And I was like, who's talking? And I was doing something else in another room or something. And I was like, what the heck is Brock Lesnar talking for?
Yeah.
And it wasn't bad. Like, the promos he's done with the match with Orton and he have been really good.
The videos,
I believe him
when
he says those nasty, nasty things about Orton. And so I don't know what's become of this guy. He's like a better actor than he's ever been before.
I don't know if going back to UFC,
fire under him or something.
I don't know if he's just like, you know what? I feel good. I feel jazzed up. I'm gonna start talking more or something, or what it was. But yeah, I didn't know he was gonna drop the S-bomb. Like that was
And
surprising.
neither did WWE, but they're not going to suspend him or anything for it.
They should at least fine him for it.
They should.
They should at least fine him for
but
it.
They're not going to.
They're not going to because he would probably just punch the WWE headquarters until it died.
Yeah. He'll F5 the building.
Yeah,
he'll pick
up the building and F5 it.
And then eat a shark or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, Heath Slater is probably my favorite thing about both shows right now.
He is, and this is a very clever thing that they're doing, and I just hope it doesn't go on too long. But
yeah, and this is outside of the Orton Lesnar feud. It is connecting both shows in a way that needs to be connected. Both shows need to be connected some way. I don't know what's going to happen after.
Yeah, I feel like at the joint pay-per-views, they should always have an interpromotional match. I feel like they should do that. So that would be a good way to do it. To have a feud going between two guys, like they have a match, one of them cheats to win or something like that, or does something, and then it gets the other guy mad, and so it creates an interpromotional feud or something like that, and then a title can switch hands to another show that way or something or whatever. But it is. It's keeping them connected. Because this Orton Lesnar feud is probably going to be over at SummerSlam because Brock Lesnar is going to wrestle and then he's going to be gone for several more months.
Probably,
which would be stupid which is another reason why he shouldn't win, because it's like Randy Orton's going to be on work. He's going to be at work on Monday.
Yep.
He's going to be doing stuff. Brock Lesnar's going to wrestle this match and then go away forever. Like Randy Orton's going to be doing the house shows. He's going to be there week in, week out. But anyways, I'm not going to get into that again.
Yeah, it's a big pet peeve. It's really annoying.
Brock Lesnar should lose. Randy Orton needs this win. Anyways,
SmackDown needs this win. WWE needs Orton to win. Period.
Yes, to make him look like another big time main eventer guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all.
Anyways, don't want to get off on that again. But yeah, I thought it was good. And then the Paul Heyman and Heath Slater going back and forth was great. Those two guys were great. And Paul Heyman he has funny in his bones. He's never not funny to me.
Yeah,
he's always funny.
Ever since I saw him, as Johnny Dangerously, not Johnny Dangerously.
That's with Michael Keaton.
Yeah, that's that. Paulie Dangerously. I've loved this guy for a long time, back in the WCW days, and then ECW. He is a showman through and through.
Mm-hmm.
Probably second best to Bobby Heenan, to be honest. Great on the mic. But yeah, he and Heath Slater going back and forth. It was well done.
It was good. It was a good segment. It was a good segment. And then he just, I loved Heyman just as a quick end to this segment. I loved Heyman just picking up Heath Slater's sunglasses and putting them on. That was funny. I thought that was a very nice touch.
Yeah.
But yeah, good segment. And then we got Jericho.
Jericho, yeah, they actually came out and said this is their name.
I loved
I like the Y2. What'd you say?
Y2KOJ.
Yeah, Y2KOJ. That was cool, but now that's Jericho.
Jericho. That makes more sense and rolls off the tongue a little better. But Jericho. But yeah, their interview backstage, their promo, that was hilarious.
Yep.
Well, keep these guys together forever.
Yeah. These guys could go back and forth. They play off each other so well.
They do. Oh, that's great.
Some of the things that who certified him as a G? The G Association of America. It's just like that stuff, and the names back and forth. Robert, Brian, Stephen, James, Nathaniel. His name's Tom.
Yeah.
He's Tom Phillips, and he's awesome.
Yeah.
Just the whole bit was great.
It was. I mean, those two guys are just so funny, and
they are.
Like I haven't watched any stand-up comedy for a while, and I don't really feel like I need to because I'm getting plenty of it with KO and Y2J. They're just so funny.
Good point.
I mean, the part that I just love the whole, he better watch it. What's that, Chris? It. Like, that kills me every time. Like, his face, the way he kind of snarls and, like, leans in when he says it, and that's always funny. And
you should know what he means by it.
It. And I just love the quiet. You and me talking about that. So that is funny. Quiet.
He's
quiet.
His resurgence has been a great thing for the WWE.
Yes.
I'm so excited that they're letting him be on the mic way more. Kevin Owens needs to be on the mic way more as well. they like you said, they play off each other so super well that I could watch these guys just talk for hours.
Yeah, if they keep these guys together for a while as a tag team, they might be one of my new favorites
Yeah.
because they're so great. And then they had the match with Big Cass, KO versus Big Cass, and then the other guys were in the corners and stuff.
Yep.
You know, it was just to kind of move the storyline along. Both guys getting a DQ win,
Yeah.
each team getting a DQ win. I thought that was so funny the way they did that. But so yeah, it was kind of I was kind of actually displeased with the guys at What Culture talking about the SummerSlam predictions for many reasons because they got a lot. There's a lot of stuff they talked about and they said that I disagreed with. But yeah, this was what they said that this feud between Enzo and Cass and then KO and Jericho was, you know, they just said, oh, it's just kind of a meh feud. There's not a whole lot there. And I was like, what do you mean? All these guys are great on the mic. It's, you know, and like they ain't slouches in the ring either. I was like, he goes, you know, I hope Enzo and Cass win and that's the end of this feud. And I was like, no, that have Y2KO,
Yeah, Y2K or
have Jericho rather win this match,
Yeah.
and then the next pay-per-view have Enzo and Cass win. You know,
Yeah, this feud can go on for a while.
it can go on for a while. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes I wonder if, you know, across the pond, their humor or our humor doesn't translate
As
a lot.
much to the
Because I know when I watch some of the King Ross's stuff, he'll be like, I don't get it. I'm like, it's because it's an American
yeah
joke. And so I wonder if that's part of it. They just don't care for
that could be.
this kind of humor. I think it's funny. You think
I do.
it's funny.
Yeah.
Just keep it going. I think it's a great feud. It's something to keep them both doing, and we'll see what happens.
And then, did you see the next weird chapter in the
I did.
strange book that is still Darren Young and Titus O'Neil?
I don't know why Hulu picks what they pick. I'm assuming they pick all the storyline stuff, the good storyline stuff. But then there's stuff like this I don't get to see. So what happened?
Basically, they were a tag team. They reunited as the Primetime Players against the Shining Stars. And it's just like,
Why?
wait, what? How? And then it's like, oh, it happened earlier today. And then they showed a video of Bob Backlund and the two guys talking like, oh, you know, we need to get the Primetime Players back together. Oh, yeah, it'll be great. Yeah, the Primetime Players back together. And they're all talking about that. And then during the match, Titus O'Neil is actually, Darren Young is accidentally pushed into him when he's not paying attention. And then he does the Clash of the Titus on Darren Young, and then he leaves the ring, and then the Shining Stars win by pinning Darren Young. And then that was it. And it was just, once again, it's just like, it just feels like they don't know what they're doing with this.
Yeah.
It just seems like this is almost filler.
Yeah.
For the episode, because it just seems weird.
I think it is filler. I think you're 100% right. This kind of stuff is
I
filler.
I just don't.
They don't know what to do with, they don't know what to do with Shining Stars anyway. But they definitely don't know what to do with Darren Young and Titus O'Neil. And so, yeah, we'll see how this goes. But you're right.
In my opinion, they should have stayed. They shouldn't continue the feud. They should have stayed as the Primetime Players.
Yep.
And they should have feuded with the Shining Stars. That way, they both have something to do. That's what I would have done.
That would have been a good idea. Darn you, WWE, not calling Caleb to book things.
Come on. What's the matter with you? All right. Did you see Neville versus Jinder Mahal?
No.
No. Yeah, wasn't a bad match. Yeah, really not a whole lot to say. It just it wasn't a bad match. Neville won, and
Good. As he should. Neville should always win.
Neville should always win.
I think when the cruiserweight gets here, the championship gets here, I think Neville will be one of those who are in the picture, and I hope Neville wins it sometime down the road because Neville is a talent that should not be wasted. Dude's amazing. So give him something to do. Not necessarily give him the cruiserweight because even though he's very, very good in the ring, these cruiserweights that are coming up from the CWC stuff are as equally as good, if not better. So we'll see what happens when that comes along.
Yeah. So, and then Seth Rollins finally found the Demon King. What'd you think?
I liked every bit of it. Like you've said before, Seth Rollins does a really good job of making you hate him.
Mm-hmm.
This whole bit from start to finish was really, really good. They bring Finn Balor out in his pay-per-view get-up, and it was great. Every bit of it. having him come out of the smoke
Mm-hmm.
was really cool. Him just slinking to the stage is really, really cool. I wish Seth was a little more afraid, because that would freak me out if it were real.
Yeah.
I know that this isn't real. I know you know who Finn Balor is, but this
Yeah.
is freaky.
Yeah,
Like,
he should have looked way more rattled. Like
Yeah.
I thought he should have looked. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, he should have looked way more freaked out by it and stuff. Like he did look like he was like, but he just looked disturbed. He didn't look like afraid. Like,
Yeah, it was just
super like
"Oh,
afraid.
I
Just
followed
like
you."
yeah. But yeah, I thought the entrance, the way like it kind of just like, the lights were flickering, and there was like the noise, and then there was like yeah, it was just like, it was well done. It was creepy, and it was so cool.
Finn does a really good job of those kind of things, and so this is my favorite thing about Finn, is he doesn't have that alter ego type stuff. On regular matches he's just regular Finn Balor, and then pay-per-view big matches he's the Demon King. He's this really gnarly,
kind of lets loose and stuff. Yeah, it's.
And I liked what happened at the end. They kind of had a mini match at the end, and everything was flowing really, really, really well done. Like I said, from start to end, this whole Seth Rollins and Finn Balor thing has been great. It's been one of the shining spots of Raw.
It has. So then, the club beat the Golden Truth.
Which I also didn't see.
You didn't see that, but did you see the New Day to come out and attack them afterwards?
I did not.
Yeah, so yeah, it was just a short match, relatively short. It wasn't exactly a squash because Golden Truth got some good licks in, but it was short.
Sure.
And then the New Day came out and attacked them, and then at the end of it, the Gallows and Anderson grabbed the jar, the Big E jar, and then left the ring. And yeah, it was So yeah, I'm excited to see what's going to happen with this, because I love the New Day, but I feel like, their run is their title run has become just a little bit stale.
Yeah.
I feel like they need to switch it up. I think the club should and probably will win the tag team titles.
Especially since Raw's tag team division isn't. I mean, it's good. They have some really good tag teams, but it's not great.
Yeah, they don't have American Alpha. They don't have the Usos.
No, they don't have the charisma or the excitement as SmackDown does.
Yeah.
And so I really do think that you're right. Gallows and Anderson need to have these titles. There needs to be some kind of strength behind the titles, and these two could do it. So
yeah.
we'll see how that goes too.
Yeah. So then the Dana Brooke and Charlotte promo before the match, that was really interesting. Kind of looks like they might be. I don't know. Like,
it just depends on how you take what happened in the match. Like, is Dana going to try to prove herself now, or is this almost done? Is Emma getting ready to come back? Because Emma with Charlotte would have been great. I don't hate Dana. I think this whole thing has been good for her. She's gotten better throughout this whole time. But yeah, are they done? Are they not?
Yeah.
Is she going to be like a little dog?
Find out.
hey!
Yeah. Yeah, talking about like Jericho talking about how
Yeah.
Enzo is with Cass. Like, hey Cass, what are we gonna do today? What are we gonna do today?
Exactly.
But yeah, like I honestly think that I think this would be a good time to split them up, have Dana turn face, and I think maybe kind of get her started as on her own, kind of get her started.
And have a Dana Charlotte feud.
I think that'd be cool to do
after
SummerSlam. Yeah.
That would make sense, and then because if Emma is coming back. Because Charlotte does say something like, "I'll replace you with someone who isn't an epic failure."
Yeah.
Like, she's gonna find somebody else no matter what. She can't go to the ring by herself. It's her whole character, her whole gimmick of I can never win by myself.
Yeah.
And so if Dana does end up becoming a face and fighting Charlotte, she's gonna find somebody else, whether it's Emma or somebody. Anyway, she'll find somebody.
But yeah, so then Charlotte had the match with Alicia Fox, which Sasha Banks was on the commentary for, and then she came out and kind of put the boots to Charlotte and kind of setting up their match. I think they're gonna have another good match at SummerSlam, so I can't wait to see how that culminates. I think that'll be good.
Workers.
They're both really, and they're both like good at selling. They're both really. like when they like yell and stuff like that, like when they're in like a lock, like an arm lock or a submission hold or whatever. It's like it almost makes me disturbed because it's like are they actually like hurt right now? Like because like they just the way they're yelling, it's like man, they actually feel like they're actually hurt. Like they're both really good sellers and they're good at that.
Yeah, that's the one thing, and I've said it before, and it's kind of a shock, but I by the end of Charlotte's career, she's going to be better than Rick. Already she's showing how great of a heel she is, how great of a champion she was. I like her. I hate to say it, but I like her way more than her dad, like, ever, because she does well. She's a great wrestler.
She is. She's really
surprisingly good, actually.
Yeah. And so then we had the main event match. We got to see Roman Reigns and Rusev have a match before SummerSlam. What were your thoughts on this match, and how do you think it will affect or foreshadow their match at SummerSlam?
It was because the whole setup was it was for Lana's honor, and so the way I would have done it is I would have had Rusev win for Lana's honor, and then have Roman win the U.S. Championship. My guess is they had Roman win so that Rusev will keep his U.S. title, which makes not much sense. I mean, it makes sense because they want the U.S. title to be strong with a strong wrestler. And Rusev is no slouch. Like he can wrestle. No. He can't maybe not out wrestle, but he's strong. Like he is a strong character. And so it's kind of crazy that they would make him lose for Lana's honor, but let him win for the title. And I don't know if that's going to put a little bit of a crowbar in between Lana and Rusev. Like, oh, you won the title, but you wouldn't win for my honor type thing. Otherwise, the whole match was good. I don't know, like I said, I don't know how they're going to play this out, or if it's just going to be one of those things that, that Roman will win the title. But, it's usually stuff like this, it's a 1-for-1.
Yeah. I thought Roman would win at SummerSlam, and I thought he would lose the match. And when they announced, I was like, oh well, he'll probably lose this match tonight, or it'll be a DQ for
something.
Yeah, he'll or a count out or something, but and then that way Roman will be angry and he'll be have even more motivation, and he'll go in and he'll win the title. But now that he won on Raw, I was just like, it doesn't look so good at SummerSlam now, because he'll probably, since he won on Raw, he'll probably lose at SummerSlam. And I think that's why they had Rusev just kind of go to town on his arm and stuff like that. So it'll be more believable because, it's like, oh yeah, they were so evenly matched, and then, he finally got the upper hand, with the counter and then the spear. So I think when they do this, it'll be like, oh yeah, Rusev wore him down a lot, and so he's kind of, so now they're not, now it's not evenly matched. Now it's kind of more in the favor of Rusev kind of thing. But
the only other thing I could see happening is and I wrote it down, would Roman win at SummerSlam to give Rusev and Lana a honeymoon? You know what I mean? Like, to give them time off. Like, Roman would win the title, Rusev and Lana would go, away for a couple weeks, a month, whatever, and then come back. Like, hey, we just got back from my honeymoon. I'm feeling laid back now. All right, Roman, let's do this rematch type thing. I don't know if that's what's going to happen. That's the only other scenario that I could see happening, is if this was to set up so that they could have time away, vacation.
Didn't think of that.
That was like I said, that's the only other option I could see. But otherwise, super solid match.
Oh yeah, I was on the edge of my seat, and I was just like, this match is really good. Like, it was very, very intense, very thrilling. The crowd was totally into it. I mean, it was not bad. Like, I could not think of anything that was bad about it. I thought it was great. Like, it was just really well done. It was really cool.
The only other thing about this match, when Rusev grabbed the title and showed the camera, kind of, I just thought, man, that's a pretty title. It's so much prettier than the other titles, like the WWE Heavyweight Championship or whatever you want to call it. is cool looking,
Mhm.
but U.S. Championship with the
It's
flag,
it is.
it's just pretty.
It's really cool. It's a good belt design.
It is a good belt
It's
design.
really good.
So yeah, it's becoming. Even though I love the Intercontinental Championship and I will for a long time, U.S. title belt is so pretty.
It is. It's really cool. And
So
then
match,
that closed the curtain. Oh, that was the curtain call for was Roman and Rusev. Pretty good match.
yeah,
You
it
know,
was a solid match.
like it's definitely worth rewatching. It was just very well done. You know, like I said last night when we were talking, I was like, you know, it's good that they did that to show, hey, we can do great matches on TV too, where we don't just do the teasing, you know, for on here and then do the big matches at the pay-per-views. No, we can do awesome matches on TV too. So I thought that was cool.
For free.
Yeah, for free. But yeah, pretty good Raw, really solid. So now we're gonna jump right into the Stone Cold podcast with Dean Ambrose. Just right off the bat, what were your initial thoughts and reactions to the podcast?
One, I could listen to Stone Cold tell any story about his life ever. I'm assuming it was on the podcast stuff that you listen to, but he told a story about his vacation.
Mm-hmm.
I could listen, like I said, I could just listen to him all day. So that was a really fun story to jump into thing. But the overall with Dean, I don't know who feeds Stone Cold his information, but it seemed like Stone Cold didn't have all the right information or assumed some things about Dean's life when he would read. You know, you worked here, so automatically that's like it was worked at a spa,
Mm-hmm.
and so I don't know if Steve thought that that meant he took time off of wrestling because he worked at a spa. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he just seemed a little off because and Dean even said that. You know, what are you reading?
Yeah. Yeah.
What are you talking about? So other than that, it was a good interview. I could probably sit and listen to some of. I would like to know more about Dean's life because it seems like he had. The one thing that got me was he said he had a happy childhood,
Mm-hmm.
but then some of the things he said about his growing up didn't make it sound like it was happy. It was a good one. He's like looking back, I should have stayed in school, type thing.
Mm-hmm.
That school was too easy for him, which is sad because you know that's what teachers supposed to make it not easy, but supposed to challenge you. And so it sounds like his teachers didn't really want to challenge him, and he just didn't care.
Yeah.
But you know his overall story was kind of interesting. You know, at 16, working for a promotion there in Cincinnati, and until you know he was 18 and able to to actually wrestle. Kind of a cool story, and then just being kind of laid back and Steve said, he's like, you should be excited. Why aren't you? Where's the emotion here? And he's like, dude, I was excited, but his excitement isn't your and I's excitement. It's, hey, yeah, man,
Yeah, he's very laid back.
Very laid back, and obviously he did some medical things to himself, you know, marijuana or whatever, because he didn't want to promote that. And I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
He's like, I did some stuff I shouldn't promote.
Yeah, I did some stuff that's good that I don't really want to talk about. And
Steve's like, no, what do you do? What do you? He's like, no, dude, I don't want kids to know this stuff.
Yeah,
so,
and that's good.
And I respect that, and I respect him talking about the charity stuff. He's like, I'm a role model. I've got to realize that I'm a role model. I don't know if he's saying that more for himself or what, but it seems to, and I hope that's not the business side of him coming out, you know, saying I've got to be this person, but he is a role model to kids, and so, you know, sharing his past failings or whatever is not something he wants to do, which I really respected. What did you think about the whole thing?
Yeah, I thought it was kind of cool because I really haven't seen any interviews with. I listened to he was on the Talk Is Jericho podcast. It's Chris Jericho's podcast, and that's a really good one too. And kind of got to pick his brain a little bit, and I was like, oh, Dean Ambrose is a severely interesting man. Like,
he is.
Because he talked about on the Jericho one, he talked about how like he had these like really weird, you know, he would like go on ghost hunts and stuff like that. Like when he was younger, he would just like read about like all these, you know, haunted places, and he'd go there, and he's like, yeah, nothing really happened, but you know, it was still kind of cool to just go do that. And he talked about like doing a book report or like a research paper on Sasquatch in junior high or in Bigfoot and going Bigfoot hunting and talked about mountain biking in Las Vegas because that's where he lived and stuff. Just talk about all this stuff and I was like, wow, he seems like a really interesting guy.
Yeah, well, yeah, not caring about school. He can do whatever he wants, and you could say something about his parents, but he got to do a lot of things that you and I probably never ever would dream of doing. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, and yeah, it was just cool to hear him talk and just be like, wow, he seems like a really cool, interesting guy. And yeah, I kind of came away with that same thing of wanting to be like, oh, I kind of want to know more about him too. Just to
fascinating.
Yeah, just like favorite books, favorite movies, just basic person to person type stuff, just to kind of because so there's always that kind of thing with celebrities of like, oh, find common ground, to see like, oh, I can identify with them because they are a person after all. They're not just some big shot celebrity or whatever.
It makes me wonder if he's saving all this stuff for a book.
Nah.
Because you got tons of wrestlers writing books about their lives, which I'm fine with. The dude, he knows the business. He is working the business, and so even if he is like, I'm gonna save all these stories until I write a book, fine. I just like you said, I want to sit down with this dude and just shoot the breeze. What did you do? Like, what was it that you don't want to tell kids that you did? Very interesting guy, but like Steve said, he doesn't have any emotion, or he doesn't show his emotion as much. Because when he gets the call, he's like, yeah, okay, whatever. And then he's like, oh, I went down to FCW and I just gonna go the way I want to go.
He's probably also really tired.
And that's true too. I mean, I don't know what time it was when they did that. So, but it was a good overall, very very good podcast.
That was good.
What do you think of his comments about Lesnar?
That's what I was just about to ask. Just as a quick, yeah. I wasn't sure what to make of it. Like I was just because he's just like I went into that match and I was mad, and he's like, you're mad? Why? He's like, because Brock, he just didn't want to do anything. He was lazy. There was like no creativity at all in the match. He just wanted to suplex me a bunch of times and stuff. And at first it's like, okay, come on, don't just talk bad on the podcast about. But then at the same time, it's like, I mean, at the same time, like I didn't mind it at the same time, which was weird.
And it was because when you told me about it last night, I thought it was a longer piece, but it was actually a relatively short conversation. But when I looking back on it, I can see Dean is a worker. He has great ideas, and I think when he's not listened to, he's going to be angry, and he seems not necessarily passive aggressive, but he knows the business enough to be like, I'm not going to open my mouth and say, Brock Lesnar, you're an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he says he would do that. I'll tell Brock to his face, but the match is coming. Nobody's listening to him about his ideas, especially Brock. And it's like, and he said it. He's like, I had to go out there and save that match.
Mm-hmm.
When all Brock wants to do is suplex, which makes me wonder how the Orton Lesnar match is going to go. Is Brock going to be a team player here, or is he going to be like, no, I'm only going to suplex you?
Yeah,
type of thing.
Yeah. It kind of, like I said, at first I was kind of like, oh, he's just kind of talking smack about Lesnar on the podcast. There's a time and there's a place, guy. But then at the same time, I was like, wait a minute, this is the perfect time. He's the champion. He's on top.
Yeah.
He's in a good place. He says he's in a good place with Vince and Hunter. And
he's Vince's favorite wrestler.
Yeah, I'm Vince's favorite.
He won't tell you.
yeah. It was funny,
but with that whole thing though, it wasn't like basically Steve was pulling it out of him. He just kind of was like, I was mad going to the ring. I was going to do this. He wasn't going to go into it until Steve said, wait. You were mad. Why?
Mm-hmm.
And so he wasn't going to get into it, and he didn't really expound on anything. He just said he didn't want to work with me.
Yeah.
And so.
And like everybody, that match pretty much disappointed everyone.
It did.
Because Dean Ambrose basically did save it, and it was a match that we both agreed Dean Ambrose should have won. But yeah.
We go into SummerSlam, we're saying the same thing. Randy Orton needs to win, but if Lesnar's
gonna be a jerk and not play ball. It's like, no. Yeah.
Storyline. Storyline,
ugh.
Brock. You're not, like Caleb keeps saying, you're not going to be there probably until the next big pay-per-view.
Yeah.
So let's not give you the win. I know you want to be made strong so you can go do UFC stuff, but you're in trouble with UFC right now. So
Yeah.
let's think about this.
And also, he shouldn't get the win because of that. Also.
I agree.
Also because of that anti-doping thing, he shouldn't get the win because of that.
Yeah, if they're going to treat Roman like they did with his thing, and Roman apologized, whereas Brock has not yet apologized for anything, and maybe it's one of those cases that whatever he was given, it just happened that a slight bit is in him. The point is, Brock, you messed up. Own up to it. Roman did, whether it was a tweet or whatever. He owned up to it. He's going to try to change. Let's move on.
Yeah.
You need to be beaten this Sunday.
Exactly.
So now we come to the part of the podcast where we're talking about SmackDown Live, or SDL, like I like to call it.
Mm-hmm.
First up, the intro. Orton signs his match, but before that, it was the authority figures talking.
Mm-hmm.
I know some people's big problem right now is that, at least on SmackDown, it's authority figure. What do you think about that?
I honestly think that this is a storyline thing. Yeah. I feel like it's, it's going to be it's going to be all about the superstars. It's not about the authority figures.
Yeah. And
then it always opens up, so far, it's always opened up with Shane and Daniel Bryan. And
Randy Orton, like the last couple weeks.
Yeah, it's been with Randy Orton also.
Randy Orton.
And, that one time it was because Randy Orton was in trouble.
Yeah, in trouble. That's still funny.
That part was great, but yeah. I think it's a storyline thing where it's like gonna be eventually be like, wait a minute, Stephanie was the one we didn't want to work for, and Shane was the one we wanted to work for, and now all of a sudden, Shane and Daniel are making it all about them. So I think it's a storyline thing. I think it's gonna be something kind of like that to instill.
And even if it isn't, seeing Shane and Daniel,
and they're not really doing anything like villainous or bad. So.
No, and seeing them on screen, like I could watch both of them on screen, no problem, anytime. They're both pleasant on screen. Daniel's awesome. Anyway, what do you think about the contract signing?
I thought it was cool how he signed the contract, then Heath Slater brought the fruit basket in, and then he just throws that Randy Orton has his arms crossed, and then Heath just throws the apple in between his arms. That was funny. And then Randy Orton was just like, "Oh, I got an idea," and bites the apple, and I was like, "Oh, they're gonna have a match, aren't they?"
And this is one of those cases that I was talking about that overseas, King Ross had an issue with. It's like he didn't say anything because it was funny.
Yeah.
He's eating an apple. He doesn't say anything. We find out that they're gonna have a match later. That's funny. That's comedy. I guess it's just American comedy.
Yeah. Or if it was him just nitpicking, being goofy, or what.
Something.
Yeah.
But it was funny, and he's like, when Heath came, he's like, I was watching back, and I'm sorry, guys, I should have signed or whatever he did. And he's like, I'm not getting it.
Yeah, it was good.
It was good. It was a good opening.
I liked it a lot. And then we got the Miz TV with Dean and Dolph. Oh my gosh, these two guys just keep cutting great promos.
They do.
Dean and Dolph are amazing together.
They are. Yeah, and I think it goes back to the reason why I wanted to put the podcast in between. It goes back to what Stone Cold says to Dean at the end. He's like, I want to see a fire lit under you. And even though Dean said, I'm offended by that, it shows that Steve Austin wants a good product, a product that will be better and people will love. And so I see that fire. The last couple of weeks, Dean has came out, spoke his mind, whether he's being truthful or not, and then Dolph delivers back. And that whole the super kick out of nowhere, in my opinion, because I was watching, man, this guy's really good, man, he's really good. I was so enthused and so drawn into the conversation that the super kick it was amazing. It was a great spot.
Yeah, like I put here, I was just like, on the rundown, I just put Dolph cut a great promo, then he Shawn Michaels'd Dean, because that was vintage Shawn Michaels right there. That was awesome.
It was a great.
And I know people are like, oh, he's doing a Shawn Michaels type gimmick with his his longer hair and his tights, and he's doing the super kick and stuff. And I was like, I don't care because I like it. It totally works with him.
Yeah, it does. And
And
So stop complaining, everybody.
yeah, stop complaining about it. Like, it's great. Yeah, it was the promo. He was Dolph right there at the end, but right before the super kick, like, he was in his face. He was getting red. He was getting furious, and then he just super kicked. And I was like, that's one of the best promos I've seen for a long time. It was so good.
Yeah, and that's the great thing about. I think it's the great thing about SmackDown. I believe every single one of these people on the roster, every single one of them. When Dean and Dolph are talking to each other, I believe this is real. When John Cena and AJ are talking about each other, I believe this is real. SmackDown got the better talent in that area, and so absolutely great promo. My only issue is what's going to happen after SummerSlam. Are they going to continue this feud, or are they going to scrap it? Is Dolph going to? I don't know what's going to happen after this. I'll be sad when it's over because these guys, amazing on the mic, fighting each other. The verbal war between these two is way beyond. And it's going to be a great match. It makes me want to see this match so hard.
Yeah. Me too. I think it'll be good.
So the next thing we got the tag team build-up match with the Usos, American Alpha, and Hype Bros versus the Vaudevillains, the Ascension, and Breezango. What do you think about this match?
I thought it was very entertaining. I thought it was really well done. I loved the brawl for all where they just kind of jumped in at the same time and started wailing on each other. That was cool.
Yeah, it was.
And but yeah, I just it was a little shorter than I was hoping it would be.
It was a lot shorter than I thought.
But it was still good. It was really well done.
Yeah, when they first came up, I was like, oh yeah, cool, the Usos are fighting or in a match with these guys. And then when they started wrestling, I was like, oh yeah, the Usos are on SmackDown Live. I totally forgot about the Usos, which is sad because they're great workers in and of themselves. Putting them together with American Alpha and Hype Bros, it kind of sets that the heels versus face line between the two, which is great. You see the Usos, American Alpha, and Hype Bros being on the face side, and Vaudevillains, Ascension, and Breezango being on the heel side. It made all three of the good guys look good. Usos had some great spots. America Alpha, amazing as always, and Hype Bros with the Hype Rider. I love that move.
It's cool.
People have done it in the past. They do it really, really well. And then it made the other guys like, we don't care about this guy, which is sad because all three of those tag teams, all three of the other tag teams, are good tag teams. But it just, again, it sets the stage for the tag team scene on SmackDown, and probably a tag team title is my assumption, unless they decide not to do that. So, anything else on that match?
No.
Pretty solid.
No, not really. Pretty solid.
Next, we got to talk about Eva Marie.
Yeah.
Apparently, she was quote unquote caught in traffic. What'd you think of that spot?
It was funny. You know, like you keep saying, brilliant. It's brilliant that the ploys that they keep doing. Now, in hindsight, it's not as funny because of her violation, unless it is a work.
It is a work, which I hope, and I'm not praying about it, but I hope that that's a work, because that's funny. I know it's on the heels of the two people being suspended, but then having her quote unquote suspended. Oh, I can't wrestle because I'm suspended for 30 days. I can't come back until 30 days. Oh, but it'd be funny if she just showed up on Raw or on SmackDown and just sat there as a person watching the matches. That would be funny. But you're right. It was funny and brilliant.
Yeah.
And then we go from that. Anything else about that?
No.
Okay. Then we go to the Viper sending a message to the Beast. What do you think about that?
I thought this was cool to see how basically Heath Slater has been the
Whipping boy?
The whipping boy for this feud.
Yeah.
Thank you for the. Yeah, I was looking for a term, but yeah, he's basically being used as cannon fodder, as the hey Brock Lesnar or hey Randy Orton, this is what I'm gonna do to you kind of thing, and it's just funny. It's downright brilliant. And when he German suplexed Heath Slater, and then put his one finger up, that's one, and stood up and then did another one, and then he stood up and started bouncing around like Brock Lesnar. That was brilliant.
It was.
That was brilliant. And like the crowd loved it. Randy Orton kind of had that cocky little half smile that he had to show like, yeah, that's what's up, Brock Lesnar. And then awesome RKO, like, yeah, it was a good segment. I really dug it.
Yeah, it was a very good segment. Again, it makes me want Orton to win. I've not been an Orton fan, but this is making me see Orton in a brand new light, and so I'm very excited to see this match. Outside of Dean Ambrose's comments about Brock, I hope this match goes well, and I hope it goes the way we think it's going to go. My only issue with this match is I didn't understand the DQ. I understand that he wasn't following the ref's instructions. It was a dumb way to DQ it, in my opinion. Other than that, everything else was brilliant. Like you said, his jumping around like Brock does. Better than Brock. He did that better than Brock. It was really, really cool. But then after the match, Bray has Rowan's match, and Bray and Randy Orton pass. What do you think about that?
I thought that was kind of a cool moment of. This is kind of a funny analogy, but it kind of seemed almost like in like Pulp Fiction when a character from another story was like in the background of one of the segments in the film.
Yeah.
You know, the two characters, you know, who aren't connected right now crossing paths, and they had an impasse. You know, it kind of reminded me of that a little bit, kind of, but to a degree. Because I know it was a kind of, like I said, kind of a weird way of looking at it. But yeah, to my knowledge, I don't think him and Bray have had any feuds or anything in the past. To my recollection, I don't think they have. But I think it'd be good. So
I agree. This is one thing that I'm actually looking forward to. I hope they do it well.
Me too.
Especially because we'll get to it in a little bit. Especially what happened after the Ambrose Rowan fight. But then we come to he's being concussed, and then loses his contract. What did you think about that?
I thought it was funny. I was hoping this would be the end of the Heath Slater trying to get a contract thing, just because I don't want it to go on too long.
Yeah.
Because it's been funny and it was funny. I just don't want it to go on too long. I don't want it to overstay its welcome. But I thought this was finally going to be. I was like, okay, he's finally going to get. But then I was upset that it didn't happen just because I don't want this to go on forever. But the way they did it was funny. It was very funny.
It was funny. The only thing that when I was watching something else that since they were making fun of being concussed and they're in a lawsuit.
Yeah.
With the whole concussion thing, like I don't know if that was tacky or
they just didn't even think about it, or
they were
what.
like, oh, duh, we shouldn't have done that, or that's Vince saying, forget you, I'm Vince McMahon, deal with it, type thing. You know, I don't know what it was. It was funny.
It was.
You're absolutely right. It was funny calling you look beautiful tonight, like calling both of them the exact opposite.
Yeah.
Thinking he's still on Raw.
Yeah.
Where's my contract? That whole thing. I hope Heath Slater shows up at SummerSlam, does something funny, because you're right. After this, there's no, like, it's not going to be a Brock versus Orton anymore. What's he going to do after this? You know, I can't wait to see what happens. And then we get into the match with Dean Ambrose and Eric Rowan. Sorry. Are the Wyatt family over? Is the Wyatt family over? And what did you think about this match?
Yeah, I thought the match was good.
Yeah, solid match.
You know, you talked about last time Eric Rowan surprised you. He's really starting to come around. I feel like, yeah, he held his own in the match. It was pretty good.
Yep.
A lot of good spots, and I don't know why, I got the biggest kick out of Bray Wyatt just sitting there in his Cracker Barrel rocking chair watching the match. Like I thought that was nicely done.
It was nice. I just don't understand why it happened, but it was nice. It was great. It was a great spot.
That was a nice touch. I'm just sitting there in that Cracker Barrel rocking chair. But yeah, and then, you know, he lost the match, and then Bray just kind of looked at the mask and then put it down and kind of turned his back and walked away. And I was just like, oh, so maybe that's the end of the Wyatt family. Who knows?
Maybe. Well, I don't know what they're going to... And like you said, I said. Eric has been looking better. I don't know if it was an impromptu spinning slam.
Mm-hmm.
That looked hard.
Mm-hmm.
It looked good, and his kick, his spinning heel kick, looks amazing. And so, yeah, I want to know. I don't know if maybe this will be a Rowan versus Bray thing. That would be kind of a cool.
Ooh.
Like, just if it's going to end, do that. Have them wrestle each other. Bray wins. Rowan's out of the family. You know, we'll see what happens.
Cool.
I don't know. They don't call me for these things. They don't call you for the good stuff either. So
yeah,
we'll just have to wait to see what happens. Is the Wyatt family over? Next we come to the Becky Lynch and Carmella versus Natalya and Alexa Bliss. Your thoughts?
I really like Becky Lynch and Carmella together. Like, I like both of them separately, but I really like them together as a team.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
I don't know what they're gonna do now with the 6-woman tag match, because
I think when they put out the note about Eva, it is going to be a 3-on-2.
okay, so it is gonna be a handicap match now.
I think that's what I read. I could be wrong.
Okay. Yeah, I think all four of these women are really good with their characters and in the ring, and so I think this will be a pretty good match to have. And the match itself on Raw wasn't bad. And by the way, Naomi's entrance, her new entrance, was really cool.
It was. It made me like her. Like, I didn't hate her, but I didn't like her. But it was really, really cool. Especially if you give fans away, bands or whatever. It's neat. It's really, really cool looking.
Yeah.
Well done.
And yeah, I thought that was really, really cool. Just so, yeah, just really cool, man.
And then we get to something that's not on your list. I'm just gonna throw it out there.
Oh, please.
The whole Baron Corbin beating up Kalisto again.
Oh yeah, I forgot
needs
about that.
to come to a head. I'm just needing to say that. I think that's all we're going to say about that, because we'll get into the match of the night, the main event. John Cena versus Alberto Del Rio, or as his trunk said, El Patron. That's his full name. With AJ Styles on the mic at the table. What do you think about this whole setup?
I thought it was interesting to have. First of all, AJ Styles' pep talk to Del Rio before the match was delightfully awkward.
I forgot about that. Yeah,
that was funny.
Yes, it was.
But yeah, the match itself was kind of, they're billing it as, oh yeah, the guy who put John Cena on the shelf and took away his U.S. title, all that. Even though they're building it up as that, for some reason it just didn't click.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't click. It didn't give me a sense of.
Maybe this is the reason why Del Rio had his drug test or whatever.
That could be.
He just didn't look right or something.
Just something about this whole match, the whole setup of, he put John Cena on the shelf, and took his title, and, it just, for some reason, it just didn't.
It could be.
There was something that just was off. There was something that was just off about it. For some reason, it just didn't click. The match and the setup they had, but it led to, AJ Styles, like we were talking about on the commentary, with this stuff. It was so funny. He was acting very truculent and just kind of angry and like just kind of short and stuff like that. The way, like, JBL would say something, then he'd just be like, that kind of attitude towards whatever. Anytime somebody said something, he just kind of had that pshaw kind of I don't care kind of attitude toward it, which I thought was good. And it's hyping me up for this match, and it just really makes me want AJ Styles to get a clean win. He needs a good, clean, big pay-per-view win. Yeah. And I feel like he needs it now, because John Cena doesn't need it. John Cena doesn't need to get over. He is over.
He's established.
Yeah, I mean, AJ Styles needs this.
Yeah, he does, so that we can continue, so that he can become established. People love AJ. People like Cena. You're absolutely right. Overall, I think this match was it was a dud, but the end was great. Cena getting in there, hitting with a phenomenal forearm, and then saying, I'm sick and tired of all this stuff. I will be at the end of this, and he pulls back his hair. I will be the face that runs this place, which was pretty funny. And then I want to remember this statement. I'm gonna make your passion your prison.
Yeah.
That was I want that line said about a lot of things, and I like that line. I love that.
That was poetic. Like, that was downright beautiful.
And then like I said, like I put in my notes, he was just great on the mic. Apparently, people have hated him for his mic skill, and I hated him, but he hasn't been the best mic person. This whole feud with Cena has put that to rest. He's great on the mic. He does really well on the mic. And then, out of nowhere, what happens at the end?
John Cena
gets up.
Got a second wind, and then you gave him the AA and then gave him another AA on the table.
Yeah.
On the announce table, yeah.
Like, it was intense and it was cool looking, and I think one of the things King Ross said was they did that spot so close to SummerSlam, SummerSlam. That's a risky move to pull out but the same thing could be said about Raw with Roman and Rusev. Like, that was risky, putting them up against each other. So they both pretty much, Raw and SmackDown, kind of ended on that. We can't wait to see what happens at SummerSlam.
Yeah, I hope that John Cena doing that kind of gets the chip on AJ's, gets the chip on AJ's shoulder bigger.
Yeah.
Kind of gives the, like on the AJ Styles episode of the Stone Cold podcast, which I suggest you also listen to because it's pretty good. It's awesome. But, he said, it's not how big the dog is, it's how hard his bite is. And I was like, if he kind of brings that kind of mentality to AJ Styles, the character in this match, and hopefully, AJ will get over in the match, he'll win, so hopefully that'll kind of happen. But yeah,
the other thing that I wrote down about Cena, and I didn't realize until this episode, he is what did I write down? Cena is kind of like a better speaking Lex Luger.
A better speaking Lex Luger.
Like, Lex, I don't think could wrestle at all. Like, I watching him back, it's like, why were you ever a wrestler?
Because he's big.
Because he's big.
That's all.
John Cena is that same way. Lex could not talk at all. Like, he would always yell and just be obnoxious. Whereas John Cena, it's kind of a similar wrestling technique and style as Lex, but can talk. And so, I don't know why, I just wanted to so, Cena, I'm sorry, but you are a better on the mic. Lex Luger. Anyway, that was just my last thought of that match.
Yeah.
The whole situation.
So yeah, that was Raw and SmackDown recaps. This Saturday, be watching UFC 202, and then I'll be watching the Shinsuke Nakamura Samoa Joe NXT match at TakeOver Brooklyn 2, The Wrath of Khan.
Yeah. And I would be watching the whole thing because I'm interested. I love NXT. And I can't wait for Asuka and Bayley match. I can't wait for the Rude CN match. It'll be good. It'll be a good pay-per-view. And yeah.
And then Sunday, got SummerSlam. You and our other buddy Chris is gonna watch it with us, and then he's actually gonna be a guest on the podcast on Monday. Yep. The day right after SummerSlam, we're gonna do a special SummerSlam edition of the podcast to talk about our reactions, what we liked, what we didn't like. Hopefully we have a lot of good stuff to say, because I hate it when you don't have, because if there's at least one good, really, really good thing we can take away from SummerSlam, then I'll be okay with that. I just really hope that we have a lot of good stuff to say.
I agree. We'll see what happens.
And then, we'll probably still do the Raw and SmackDown recap the next Sunday. Keep doing those. And, like I keep saying, we'll do our top 10 favorite matches of all time sometime in the future. That is upcoming also. And so yeah, that is going to be it for episode 6. I'll see you guys Monday when we get together and have our buddy Chris here. So, thank you very much for stopping by. This is Caleb.
This is Jeremy.
Signing off.